This first solo album of mine is a result of receiving the first prize during the Musikantika competition for harpsichord in Bruges in 2023, and the collaboration of Out Here Music and the MA Festival, during which the competition has been taking place annually since 1964. I tried to showcase as much as possible the great variety of John Bull's work by including contrasting pieces like miniatures, so for example small variations and toys, as well as 4 pairs of very particular pavans and galliards, Melancholy, Chromatic Lord Lumley, and for the end St. Thomas Wake, probably the most peculiar and the most virtuosic of them all, and unfortunately quite neglected in the modern harpsichord canon. Plain songs and fantasias are also there. For example, I included the first fantasia from the Musica Britannica collection that has never been recorded before. The very chromatic Ut Re Mi Fa Sol La, the hexachord fantasy, and there are as well 2 in nomine settings and Salvator Mundi. The title somehow naturally came to mind after the recording process was done and the writing of the booklet was finished. And it has a few levels to it. Very often pieces that were composed specifically for harpsichord are performed on the modern piano, and in a way it forms how the public views this repertoire. And the same happens to English virginal music. So this adjective real is a signal to the audience that is perhaps indifferent to the choice of the right instrument, that Bull's, especially secular music, is meant to be performed on a plucked instrument and benefits the most from the use of such instrument. The important role of the virginals in Bull's time is undoubted, and I can say that based on the elaborate decorations of the virginals that are preserved until today, often much more elaborate than on the harpsichords, as well as the omnipresence of these instruments in paintings of the masters such as Vermeer or Stein and many others. So no doubt that Bull was acquainted with those instruments, for sure, because of their popularity. So I thought that choosing only virginals for the recordings would give justice to this repertoire and would seem to be the most real. Real was as well the dichotomy in Bull's life. There were 2 characters clashing inside of him. One of the devout organist in the service of the throne and the altar. It was clashing with the hedonist and scandalist. And this dichotomy is somehow present also in his music, in his keyboard writing. So I tried to juxtapose pieces that are very contrasting, like the Christmas Carol and Ut Re Mi Fa Sol La, that goes chromatically through every tonality. And that was something that was never done before in one album, to show the reality of variety of Bull's music. Real is as well synonymous to significant, and as I was reading more about John Bull's flee to the Spanish Netherlands, I reflected a bit on whether one should, for example, use Spanish embellishments in English keyboard music, because surely there was some influence of the Spanish culture. And what came to my mind as well is that the word real in the language of the sovereigns of the Spanish Netherlands means kingly, royal, or regal, and I think that Bull deserves such a real praise and definitely a kingly place in the modern repertoire canon. The arrangement of works somehow came naturally in the process of deciding the order. So while keeping the conventional contrast between more energetic and more meditative pieces, the arrangement follows the cycle of the liturgical year. So it starts with a Christmas carol, and then the pieces that are loosely connected to the events of the year follow. But also there appear pieces that bring the religious matters directly, like the In Nomine settings or Saint Thomas Wake. And it ends with Veni Creator Spiritus, sung on Pentecost. I chose two instruments for this album. One is a copy of Mother and Child Virginal, made by Andreas and Jakob Schylström, based on an original by Johannes Ruckers from 1623 that one can now visit in Stuttgart Museum of Instruments. And the other one is a copy of English undated virginal made by Jean-François Brand. And not only these instruments look fantastic, they are really beautiful, but they sound phenomenal. And together they make it possible to play blues music in 4 different registrations, which brings a lot of color. Yeah, it was a very new situation for me, because I played this repertoire before recording numerous times to my friends and to my masters, and that was the first time in my life that I was there in the studio just with the virginals and the microphones. And the microphones are obviously less understanding than the friends with the masters, but it was a very rewarding experience. I'm happy with how it turned out, and also the atmosphere on the set was great and helped me to relax a bit. And yeah, all I can say is that I hope it will be enjoyable for the dear listeners as well.